Today we're going to be reviewing Samsung's competitor to AirPods. I've been using them pretty extensively for the past 24 hours, and things may change in the long run, but I'll include it in my review of the Galaxy S10 if my opinions change for any reason. But for the most part, I have deducted my conclusion of the Samsung Galaxy Buds and how they compare to Apple's AirPods. And overall, gotta say, even as the Apple sheep, these things are a great deal and an awesome product. Let's begin. So the Samsung Galaxy Buds take a very familiar approach to true Bluetooth wireless headphones. These, of course, have no wire involved at all unless you want to charge it that way, but as someone who likes using as little wires as possible, what's amazing about the Galaxy Buds is that, yes, before the AirPods even got to it, these support wireless charging. Bizarrely, they'll even work on normal vertical wireless chargers, which I have around the office, like the Pixel stand. They will charge off of that. You can, of course, charge it using reverse wireless charging with the Galaxy S10 Plus, which is super cool. A really efficient way to charge up your headphones if you're on the go and you're not near a charger. These supporting wireless is a godsend, and in fact, they even work on the Razer wireless charger, which barely charges anything. But if you need to charge your Galaxy Buds and for some reason you have a Razer wireless charger, you can do that. Sound quality wise, I would say they are excellent. They by no means are going to be as premium as some studio grade over-ear headphones that audiophiles would compliment heavily. These are going to be perfect for day-to-day use stuff, just for what people need to listen to on their phone, nothing too professional. But as you guys know, I'm not really an audiophile. I don't really care too much about audio quality, and in my opinion, AirPods were the ideal pair of headphones for me. Legit, even before the AirPods came out, my dream pair of headphones was literally just Apple's EarPods without the wire, and I was hoping for that for years, and finally, when the iPhone 7 came out, they actually followed through and legit made just EarPods without the wire. That's essentially all these are, and I love them. They are my default go-to pair of headphones. I use them all the time, and I've been using them quite a bit for the past 3 years, and I can confirm that switching over now to the Galaxy Buds, sound quality wise, I don't notice anything different. They sound the same to me. If anything, they're a little bit nicer, but not noticeable enough for me to say that they're vastly superior sound quality, because I wouldn't say that. I would just say they're on par in regards to sound quality to AirPods. Not to mention, these are cheaper, so at $130, you would save, I mean, it's not much, but still, $30 less than what retail price AirPods cost. Surprisingly, they've never had a price reduction or anything like that in the past 3 years, and these just came out and they're already cheaper. The important thing to remember here is that in regards to the sound quality of listening to both of them, while the sound quality is equivalent, I would say the sound listening experience is not necessarily identical. AirPods, I think, go for a different style when wearing wireless headphones. So with AirPods, I think the idea is that it doesn't cancel out background audio, which a lot of people might not like, but if you're like me, you might appreciate that a little bit. What I appreciate about AirPods is that they're so light, they're so insignificant when I put them in my ear that oftentimes it's very easy for me to forget that they're actually there because they don't insert themselves really heavily. They just kind of rest in your ear, I would say, a lot more lightly, and that means that even when wearing AirPods, you can hear everything around you just fine. You can still hold conversations with people if your music is paused, and for a lot of people who want to listen to music but also need to be able to hear their surroundings in case of emergency or in case someone walks by and wants to ask them something, having AirPods is quite convenient for that because it's very easy to just pause your music and carry out a conversation. The Galaxy Buds are a different experience because these provide a decent amount of noise canceling, which means that once you put Galaxy Buds in your ears, you'll notice that you really can't hear much else that's going on. If someone's talking to you from across the room, you're gonna have a lot harder time hearing them. When I have them on right now, all I can really hear is the voice inside my head. Other than that, can't really hear anything else at all. And I totally get that that may be a selling point for a lot of people. If your goal with headphones was to cancel out background audio and just allow you to focus on the sound, then the Galaxy Buds are far better for that because they use a rubber tip opposed to the traditional plastic tip that Apple's been using for the EarPods and now the AirPods. This allows sound to pass through them, whereas the Galaxy Buds, they cancel out all of that background audio, which means that you can't hear much that's going on around you, which these would be much better, I bet, when you're flying on a plane and you want to cancel out the sound of the jet engines, there's someone crying on the back of that bus, or someone coughing a lot on your public transportation train, then Galaxy Buds are going to be the way to go. But if someone's listening to music in an office type situation and you want to hear background sounds, or you're working outside and you want to be able to hear other things going on around you, AirPods would probably be the better way to go. The other nice thing about the Galaxy Buds, which I appreciate against Apple's AirPods, is the fact that they come in multiple colors. I do not think they needed to release one in this bright, weird yellow color that kind of matches the Note 9 pen. I just think they look weird, they look ugly, but still, the fact that they come in white and black black is really, really nice, and I hope Apple can take notes from that and make sure that the next generation AirPods come in multiple colors as well. In regards to the way the cases feel and look, AirPods are definitely way more glossy and have a more shiny finish compared to a more matte finish on the Galaxy Buds, which, funny enough, if you compare them to the matte finish of the Apple Pencil 2, it almost feels like they came from the same company, even though one's made by Apple, one's made by Samsung, one's a pencil, one's earbuds, yet both are bizarrely $130. They kind of match each other very, very well, which is bizarre to me. I'm also a fan of USB-C. I think that's the best and final port of recent technology, so if you don't have a wireless charger, I'm very happy that you can charge the Galaxy Buds via USB-C, and the case itself is a little bit different than the way AirPods are designed. I think that the lid mechanism on the Galaxy Buds is just a tad more clunky than AirPods. I think it's very simple to open them up, and it's kind of satisfying to play with that lid, whereas with the Galaxy Buds, I can't necessarily open them up with one hand. Not that I need to. Obviously, I have to use the other hand to pull the AirPods out, but it's kind of nice that AirPods are a bit more elegant in the fact that they kind of act like a lighter. You can pull AirPods out, whip them open like this, and kind of see that they're there and see your charge light, whereas Galaxy Buds, doing that with one hand isn't really possible, so you kind of have to hold it and then pop it open like this, and the lid just feels a tad more clunky, not quite as satisfying, but ultimately doesn't affect the functionality of the device, so I don't fault it for that. Now, with all of the great advantages to Galaxy Buds and at the cheaper price point, I bet a lot of people are saying, then why are Apple's AirPods so expensive? These seem to be better in every single way. Well, they did have to make a few compromises, but I think where Samsung made the compromises made a ton of sense, and it's completely justified. So AirPods, even though they're only $30 more and 3 years older, they do still have a few advantages compared to the Galaxy Buds. Most of them come to battery performance. So while one Galaxy Bud on its own can last 6 hours, which is 1 hour longer than one traditional AirPod, which can last 5 hours with it being outside the case, let's say you use your AirPods or you use your Galaxy Buds all the way up till the battery dies and you need to put them back in the charge case. 15 minutes in an AirPods charge case will last you a lot longer than the Galaxy Buds will with 15 minutes in their charge case. So what I'm basically saying is the Galaxy Buds charge a little bit slower. So if you plan on using these for extensive amounts of time, like a really, really long flight, for example, you could use your Galaxy Buds for like 6 hours, then you'll have to wait a little bit longer until they're ready to be used again compared to what you would have to wait for with AirPods. They charge a lot faster in the charge case. Also, the AirPods charge case itself adds an additional 24 hours of battery life with your AirPods, which is really impressive, and I think a lot of AirPods users notice they don't have to charge the AirPods charge case every night. You can easily go 2, 3, maybe even 4 days between having to plug in the charge case because there is so much battery that they were able to pack inside this thing, compared to the Galaxy Buds, which when the buds are partnered with the case, you have a maximum of 13 hours of battery life, which simply means that you have about half as much battery capacity extra with the charge case compared to AirPods, meaning if you plan on using your Galaxy Buds a lot, you're probably going to have to charge this every other day, and definitely a lot more often than you would with AirPods. So that's the compromise you have to be aware of, but at the end of the day, I still think the AirPods battery life is insanely good, to the point that I think if people had to compromise and go with Galaxy Buds, you wouldn't really care or notice that much that they have a weaker battery, because still 6 hours for the buds themselves and 13 hours in total with the charge case, that's not that bad. You can still get through most of the day, and I think most people listening to music aren't doing it for 6 hours straight. Most of the time, an hour to 2 hours at a time on average for most users. So I think Apple has a lot to learn from the Galaxy Buds. I cannot wait to see what Apple responds with when the inevitable AirPods refresh happens later this year. But yeah, even coming from an Apple sheep, I think the Galaxy Buds are a really great product, and yes, they work with iPhones, they work with any Android. You only get that W1 emulator if you get a Samsung phone, but ultimately, really, really good pair of AirPod competitors that I enjoy using. They sound excellent, they work excellently, and I love the wireless charging, so 2 thumbs up, I guess, from the Apple sheep. Have you tried Galaxy Buds yet? Let me know what you're thinking of them down in the comments below. This is your Apple sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.